Alright, so I am here to talk about my experience at Second Wind. And yeah, so this is episode 2 of Off the Noggin, is what I'm going to call it. And it's just going to be where I recap my in-person events that I go to, and hopefully I can talk through some of the key decisions in the games, or maybe I can learn something. Maybe that can help. This can help myself play better in future events. So yeah, I went to Second Wind. It was pretty last minute. I picked up one of the available tickets from the wait list, and I did a 6 hour drive there and back. It's pretty crazy. I wish I could have done this the night I got back, but my dog got sprayed by a skunk. Like within minutes basically of me getting home. So that was pretty crazy. All right, let's get right into it here now. So I brought an Avengers Steve, original Steve Sam list. Second Wind um, was allowing all of the new characters, including the core box. So there were a few other characters, but I didn't have it. Actually, it arrived today. So like the day after Second Wind. But anyway, this is my list. So it's very similar to what I brought to Michigan GT. I think I don't remember. I picked up Miles. I don't remember what I had in there instead. I think I had Hulk in here, and I don't. There was a few minor other changes. I think I kept everything else pretty much the same. I think looks like it. I don't remember exactly, but so before the event, I was like I could bring Extremis, or I could bring Cosmic Invasion like a D shape, secure instead of Scoundrels. And I was like, well, what would that be? And like it was hard to build with no 2 threat and Cable as my 5 threat isn't great on D shape, so it's like he's kind of out of the question in a lot of situations like that. So it was like, how do I build 16? And it would have been like 4 4s, right? I would have to go like boom, boom, and then I'd have to play Cable here because I don't have, like, this doesn't work. You're not affiliated. So Black Panther was gonna be where Miles was, or like that was like the thought. And I so then I could play Extremist though. I could play 2 4s and 3 3s. And but then the problem is like I'm basically I don't know. I didn't like the. It was hard to be. I feel like I wasn't getting everything I wanted. Like imagine if this was Black Panther here, Miles. So I would basically have to play this something something like this, or I could. I mean, I guess I could play any of the fours, but I just wasn't digging it. So I liked the 20, and I liked Miles in the list. It let me go 5 wide. I don't know. I got to try to build something. I guess like this would be fine, or I could like swap for this and go like that 20. But it also let me run. It also let me run 6 wide. I have to figure out how to do this. What does that work? No, it doesn't. How did I run 6 wide? Oh yeah, right. Yeah, it has to be Steve. So it'd be something like this. 6 wide if I needed it. So that's really why I brought Miles in here. Also, Hulk. I was predicting CGR heavy meta, and I was like, Hulk kind of just can get dusted. So I was like, I better not even have him as an option, so I don't like get hit by that. I basically built this list to as like my Avengers attempt at defeating CGR basically. So I chose relatively high scoring extracts and secures, pay to flips, so I can score them even if I'm off the point or I'm dead. Was the idea there, and then yeah, because he doesn't really like pay to flips because of that reason, right? I can still win the game with like one character left, like be scoring the same amount of points as his team with like one character left or whatever, right? 1 or 2 characters left, still get like 4 VPs or something. Even if they're like on the edge of the board and all that. That's pretty much like the idea. That's why pay to flips are challenging for characters or teams that are narrower. But anyway, Cards are all, I mean, like pretty much exactly what you would expect. I don't think there's anything really spicy here. I picked Indom over Patch Up just because of the chains pull. It would like stop it. Maybe it would help. It would also like it would just help for throw. It's like another way to stop you get from taking throw damage. Steve dies easy on the injure on the flip side to, or easier on the flip side to throws. So that would kind of get around that. And I didn't feel like I needed patch up as much because Hulk would have benefited the most. So taking Hulk out meant that I don't know, it was kind of like an available card. So I could have chosen sacrifice 2, and that was something that I brought. I think I brought it, and I almost swapped. And this is the list. So yeah, nothing too crazy here. I've got like a down the middle plan, like I talked about last time. You could play like just like this is your base down the middle, and then you build whatever you need after that. You have to basically every Avenger you add, you can add an extra splash. But it really is just like a 5 wide team basically, right? So I mean, you can obviously take Cable out for someone else, but and then like you can change things. But Cable is cool because you can add extra dice to your defense. For 1 power, you get 2 extra dice, and Crimson Dynamo basically does like the same thing but better with his 1 power thing. So just like you can stack them. You can take damage on, like you could bodyguard with Steve and pay 1 power on Cable, so you're getting effectively the same thing you'd get with 3 power on Steve. So it's all right. You also get so then you get the go wide, or like go wide faster, I guess is what you say. You're probably similar in terms of width or whatever, but you get to put in like there's multiple steals you can put in with Spider Woman being affiliated. It lets you run 3 steals pretty easily. Like this is 17 right here, and then you could let's see here. I would need to drop. Yeah, I don't know. This is 3 steals, 17. How else could you get? How else could you get 3 steals? There's 18. Yeah, so I don't know. You could figure it out, but um yeah, so like that seems like a pretty decent 19 here. Anyway, I guess I should talk about the actual event itself too. That's probably pretty. I mean, that's pretty cool. So I'm sure everyone who has heard of Second Wind already knows it takes place in a brewery. It was really cool. It has like the actual pub, kind of like the customer facing part of the pub. It's just a cool place. And then we played in like the back room basically, where they had all their like heavy machinery to produce the drinks, and they had like the basement, like the storage basically area. I don't know. It was just like it was an empty basement. Clean. I'm assuming it was like cleaned out for the event, but or everything was like moved to the side or something. But yeah. So there was like 32 tables or so, 20 tables in the back room, like whatever, 12 tables downstairs, and it was pretty cool. It was I liked the chess clocks. The first time I played an in-person event on chess clocks, 45 minutes on each side, and it felt like enough time. If you basically, the only time it would be a problem, for me at least, was if you were tying on like round 5 or something. Like if you tied on round 5 or even round 4, I guess, depending on the secure the crisis combination. But if you're like tied like 15-15 or something, like one person could potentially just lose on clock. Like with like 3 minutes left going into the next round, it's just like it's tricky, right? Especially because like you roll dice on both players roll dice on your opponent's side, so it's like you get into situations where uh, your opponent could like roll like slightly, like just at a normal pace, and you're rolling as fast as you can and declaring all your things. But um, the idea is to not be at the point where you're in that position, and I didn't feel like I ever was, really. So it was just great. It was just great. It kept the event moving along. I liked the amount of space between each game. Uh, it felt like a nice, like a little bit of breathing room to set up for the next one. It wasn't like, all right, dice down, and 3 minutes later you're like drawing the next round or whatever. So it was really cool. The people there were awesome. The host of the event, the size 3 taco truck guys are all super nice. It was cool to meet them because I've been watching their content for the last while or so. I don't know, a year or so. And yeah, they're all really cool. I got to see a bunch of the Canadian guys that I don't get to see very often or really at all. And other than like talking to them on Discord or playing against them. And so it was really cool to see all those guys. So yeah, I guess we'll go through my games now. So let me pull that up. This should work. Hopefully this works here. Boom. And we got... All right. Oh, it'll just work. Oh, that's like... Yeah, there we go. Okay, there we go. Did it work? If I pick this, will it work? Okay, perfect. Boom, boom, boom. Alright, so yeah, I played Midnight Suns. And this, let's see here. This was game 1. Let's put the mission down. The map, so the mats were really cool. The terrain was all very nicely painted. And but like, so each table I played on, other than the first table I played on, every other table was like very similar. Like they all had, they used like all the same type of terrain. Like it was like bushes, light posts, cars, like the city kind of like terrain pieces. This one had this one was the Adepticon mat or the Adepticon terrain that was built in a way to be like a pinball machine. I think it was on a stream or something like that during the Adepticon event, or people were taking pictures of it in the Discord because it was super unique. So it was really cool. I got to play on that terrain that I'd seen before. It was shaped like a purple pinball machine. Okay, so anyway, this is the team. I won priority. I picked secures. I got 20. I mean, there's nothing really crazy here. You got Cable for a safe grab. He's got, like, we had like iHulk just like here, Voodoo on this side, Blade, like Ghost Rider here, and we got Blade over here. All right, so we have Dynamo on this side to counter deploy Blade. Steve just like floated. I think he just, yeah, I think he like floated here so he could rotate. Pyro, same thing. It's like my plan was Pyro go last, just like root incinerate Hulk. Spider-Woman here. And she was gonna like, I think like the plan was her for just to grab the book and rotate is really the thinking here. The idea, I guess, like Spider-Woman grabbing the book is like, maybe you think like, oh, why do you have your Stealer grabbing the book? And that would be a good point to bring up. I think that, I guess the argument, or like in my mind, I was thinking it's fine because if they damage her and she loses the book, she just can take it back, is like the general idea. I don't remember. Okay, so here we go. So yeah, when you're playing Midnight Suns, it's just like, one below all can push into your deployment zone and make you really sad. So let's see if that happens. And also Siege of Darkness can make you very sad. Like if the Midnight Suns player has a phenomenal Midnight like Siege of Darkness turn, like it could just be GG's. So Cable grabs his piece, grabs the book, and does this. And he moves over to here. He can't get within one of the secure. It was close. There might have been terrain in the way or something. There was, in fact, actually a size 3 here blocking line of sight on Cable, something like this. So, yeah, so then we have Voodoo, or let's see, I think we had just like Voodoo grab this book and rotate to this side. And we had Blade push up, I don't know, I had Jessica go. She went here, she grabbed this book on this side. And then we had Blade rotate to something like this. I had Dynamo use the cool Steve ability, so he paid 1 power to get the range 2 place, put him to about to here. I used a move action, and then I shot Blade. I put him here so that I could basically, I thought I'd be able to like do the range 1 place again and be contesting this point. So I could, I was hoping to do that, and let's see what, like, I mean, I'm not sure if that was a good idea or a bad idea, but I shot Blade, got a power back, and that let me have power for my disruption field next turn, or like more power for disruption fields next turn is like the idea there. Also, like, I put a shock on Blade, like I wasn't expecting to do anything crazy. I had no damage, shock on Blade. It was pretty nice. We had Ghost Rider go, and I think I think we had Ghost Rider just like move and like hit a range 3 on Cable or something. Or what did he do? Oh no, he hit a range 3 on Spider-Woman. Yeah, he did a move bump into Spider-Woman. And I didn't have my bodyguard up because I hadn't moved him in time. And I was thinking like, oh man, I basically picked the wrong activation order here. I think I should have probably moved Steve over here a turn earlier so that maybe I could avoid that damage, or I could have decided. But I think he only hexed Spider-Woman anyway. Like, nothing. It wasn't significant enough. Okay, so this is basically the last part of the turn. I Hulk. He was able to 1 below all and get to here and attacked Dynamo. And I just disruption fielded it so that his wild, he had to reroll his wilds. I think he did I don't know, it doesn't matter, an irrelevant amount of damage to him. This is like the hard decision I had to make, was like, do I just move up, shoot at Hulk and go for the incinerate? Or do I like double move him? And I ultimately double moved him, knowing like he's in big trouble here. But I root and slowed. I had a choice of root and slowing Ghost Rider or Immortal Hulk. I ultimately decided to root and slow Immortal Hulk. Basically, there was like I thought like whoever I would do this to the other character would go, but he went with Immortal Hulk anyway. So I think like it was probably the right call. Like, I mean, seeing him do that, it meant that that activation was still just as valuable. So I'm trying to think of like what else it was. There was lots of rotations in this game, and like we get Hulk here attacking into Cable, throwing this piece of cargo, and just like doing, like, trying to get some damage through. There was a misplay on his part where he left Hulk within 3 of Dynamo here, so I could disruption field him even though he's like attacking the guys on this side of the board. So that was like, that basically like kept my team in the game, because he wasn't able. I think over the course of the game, every time I played disruption field, I was able to negate a throw on Immortal Hulk, so it really kept me alive. And so yeah, so then Cable, like, let's see here. Yeah, I'm really not sure, man. I wish I did this like that night, because then I maybe would have remembered. There are 6 games here, but by the end of the game, I was in a position where Blade was rotating. He was rotating. Oh yeah, he moved here. He, no matter the cost, did my pyro for he did like a Siege of Darkness turn, I think, on Blade, where on Blade's activation. I wish I remembered, but either way, Blade just like annihilates my my pyro, and Ghost Rider. I kill Ghost Rider. I injure him. He's done. Voodoo. Fuck, maybe fucking Jesus Christ. This is so bad because I don't remember shit. Okay. So I had to play Avengers Assemble. I remember doing this. I had to play Avengers Assemble. Let me back up. Cable moved here, grabbed a size 4 terrain, threw it at Voodoo's face. Voodoo takes 4 damage, living on 2. And then I think ultimately Cable gets injured at one point, but then Steve had to play Avengers Assemble here and throw 2 shields at Voodoo as it was like kind of like a Hail Mary. Oh my god. But no cover on the shield made this mission really helpful for me. because then he was able to push through the damage I needed to. I got through the 2 damage. So something interesting happened during this attack, I remember, and that's that I threw in a shield and I did 1 damage to him, and he could have bats. I'm pretty sure he could have played bats to take no damage. And yes, of course, it's a risk because I do have a second action, but on the second action, I did 1 damage. I did 2 damage net, like through after his defensive rolls. So that means that he couldn't bats it and live. So it's like it's interesting to be like, oh, should you have bats a 1 damage through on your character? Either way, what it let me do is it let me pick up a book that I think he might have possessed from me before. I don't remember when I got it, but it did give me a VP swing here. Ultimately, Dynamo came to the middle where he was able to continue to use his beams, and like his disruption field, I mean. And then eventually, towards the end of the game, I had Dynamo move over to here, like basically, oh shit, we had to move over to here, and he was just beaming. He double beamed these characters to just like fuel up on power. Eventually, I-Hulk basically just like run rampant all game, but I was able to stop. I was able to stop like Voodoo. He was like dazed on like the last turn, and Ghost Rider. I had Spider Woman rotate like way over to this side of the board. She was like ish over here. He was able to attack Spider Woman and kill her or like daze her and pick up the book. But at that point, I was scoring. I was up ahead on points. I had a big round 3 where I scored. I think I was up something like 13-9 or something like that, or I don't remember the exact points. But Crimson Dynamo basically is like in general is like a good counter to I-Hulk, and the cover helped me a lot. I think my opponent might have forgotten about cover a couple times. I wasn't sure, but there was another key moment that I should probably bring up, and that is that when Dynamo was sitting over here, I-Hulk begins the activation, and he attacks Pyro. I don't remember if this is the first action or second action, but anyway, Immortal Hulk is not on the point, so I know Pyro gets cover. Pyro roll, like Immortal Hulk rolls like 5 successes or something like along those lines. Pyro on his injured side has like 5 health, and so it's like, oh, if I take cover, I live on 1. But Immortal Hulk rolled the wild. I didn't disruption field it. I couldn't at the time. I think Dynamo was dazed maybe, but I decide to elect to. This is like the key thing where I decided to not take cover, so that that's what it was. Crimson Dynamo was very low on health, but he had no power. He must have disruption fielded the attack before. Basically, by not taking cover here and just taking the damage and getting KO'd off the board, I prevented my character from being thrown into Dynamo. Like if I took the 4 damage and I was like, oh, I'll take cover. Take 4 damage, and then I get thrown and killed anyway. So cover is optional, and I mean sometimes it's advantageous to take more damage. In this case, yeah, I think it kept my Crimson Dynamo to allow him to activate that round. So this was a very close game until round 3, where I was able to pull ahead by like 4 VPs, and then I just needed to basically survive one more round with my characters like running away or running away. I knew that when he had 4 activations, if I could like stop him from activating one of his characters each round, then it would be more like 5 against 3. And on a mission where there's like 5 points on the board, 5 secures to, and there's cover and all that, like it was a big win every time I was able to do that. So I don't know if there's much more else to say about this game. that I can think of. So, well, if there's anything I would have done differently, I mean, like rotating Steve into the bodyguard range when like there's a threat to be able to start impacting my characters is probably the right call. Like Crimson Dynamo doesn't need to go up that turn, so just like a small changes in activation order probably matter more. And yeah, I mean, like that's like the main thing here, just like keeping my activation order cleaner if I can. So let me see here. Let's what's the best way to go about deleting these things? I guess I just have to just go through it. Okay, that was actually pretty quick. All right, so let's just go to game 2 then. All right, that's mine. All right, so we got spiders here that I play against. Interestingly enough, we both play this 3 of the same characters. It was just the leader and one other character that are different. And I felt really good. Let's go through the opening here. I felt really good after round 1. And then I'll try to identify what I did wrong here, because I ended up losing this game. All right. Just get this set up. Whoops. Okay, so we have perfect. So let's get these going. He wins priority. I picked 20, and that could have been my first mistake. Let me like just let me just pull up my roster and see what I should have done at 17. So we're playing Scrolls and Extremis. I know I need like a long grab for the scroll, so I'm looking at Sam, maybe. Like that's pretty straightforward. Do I need Steve here? Yeah, I do. So the reason I would play Steve here is because I'm playing against a team that does not want to attack me, and so I'm gonna need like the momentum of my superpowers to keep me in the game. Like Sam's leadership is great for teams that want to actually attack you, but this team like really isn't going to. Maybe once or twice. So I'll get to use Sam's leadership maybe twice. I don't know. Like I guess it depends, right? Like every webs player is different, but my like they're a lot less I don't know, bloodthirsty than a lot of other affiliations. Okay, so that's why I wanted to go with Sam here. So I see. So Sam's a good pick. Let me try to build my 17. I would want as many steals as possible. So I would pick. We're playing a D shape, so it's like Sam goes in here. Luke Cage optional because, like I said, they're probably not going to attack you that much, and so that's why that's suboptimal. I thought. Okay, so we've got 11 points here. They're all Avengers. I'd have to build 3 more, and I mean, this is probably what I play. I should have played this. Holy moly, this is like amazing. What did I play? Okay, so I played. Yeah, look at that. Oh man, wow. Okay, so there's I think my screw up. I let him play. Look at the squad I let him play. I let him play this pretty sick squad here. He's got 3 steals. I have 3 steals. Oh, hold on. I have 3 steals if on 17. Yeah, I have 3 steals on 22, right? I have these 3. Same characters. Just I had Steve and Cable. Like, it's just worse than Daredevil's. Both these characters are long. So when we deployed characters, I was like, uh-oh, I think I made a mistake here. And so let's go through what happens. Damn, I should have picked 17. As I think. I don't remember his list exactly, but okay. So he deploy. Let's see, who did he deploy first? I mean, probably ASM just middle. I mean, it's pretty straightforward what he's going to do here. It's interesting that I think he made some mistakes in deployment, and that's why I said after turn 1 I felt good about it. Like, you can safely grab your scroll agent with like Jessica or Daredevil. So I mean, why don't you just grab it with Daredevil? Because like it's like, how do I get it from? I don't know. Like I have to attack you to get it from you. Like with pretty much all these characters. I mean, Rhino could get it, but um, so I think he should have he had priority. Like just like grab the safe scroll, and then you got Daredevil here. But that's not what he did. He put Daredevil somewhere like around, I don't know, same kind of area here. What else did he do? He put Rhino like here-ish. Miles was here and here. So he deployed, I got to deploy, basically counter deploy him. So I put, yeah, okay, I see, I made multiple mistakes here that put me in a bad position. Okay. So I put Cable across from Spider-Woman, basically so I could be like, all right, if you grab that as your opening move, because I'm trying to find like where his opening moves are, or like which scroll he's gonna grab, so like I know which ones I need to grab. Then I can just place and shoot at you, and then move and like hit you without your martial artist. And if I might be range 3, I'd have to measure it, but like I could get rerolls potentially. And then shoot, I should have. Wow, I really fumbled the bag here because I think I put. Yeah, that's like terrible. Holy moly! I didn't realize how bad this opening was. I put Rhino here because he put his Rhino there. His Rhino was like on this side of the board, so it was like the idea was to kind of counter deploy his Rhino, just like take whatever. If he like, I'm going last, so it's like if he robberies, I can like counter with a robbery, and then like net, I'm up. We're both out of the card, but I have the extract. It was like the idea. Okay, so wow, massive blunders that I'm realizing now how bad this was, because okay, so I mean he makes some mistakes too early game, I think, but he does double walk Rhino. All right, let's turn this off. What are we doing here? He does double walk Rhino here and grabs the scroll, and I was like, oh my gosh, like that's crazy. Oh, I can't believe you just did that. I put Jessica here and I grabbed this scroll because I mean she has four physical defense, so it's like maybe if she doesn't get pulled, like great. And also I think it's like the same kind of logic I used last game. It's like if you attack her, she'll get enough power to steal it back. And so we had Daredevil go though, and he shot her through cover, sorry, stealth, and brought her closer in here. Brought her off the point. That was like the main thing. That was this created the problem for me. So whew, man. Yeah, I put my guys in the wrong spots. Okay. So we have okay, so we have then I go and I think I double I double walk Steve to grab this piece. I could have grabbed this piece. I was like, I don't think I'm gonna die here, but I was just scared, basically. I don't know. Don't really know which one is the better option. There was a size 4 that was like right here. So it kind of protected me from like any sort of aggressive movement. There's no R&D in the list, so it's like if I get pushed in, the problem is if I get pushed here, I am in like attack range from ASM. So it was just like, and this is why I should have had Jessica grab this piece. Like, not right away. I should have had, I'm not sure who I should have had here, but probably just Miles, I guess. Pick this up and do the roll and all that, but that's not what happened. Steve grabs this scroll here and he just stays there, so he gets that. And then, let's just reset where we're at. ASM goes and grabs this scroll, and I just like, he misses the thing, pushes whatever, he like ends up like back here. So I think this is a mistake from the opponent made, right? Like he didn't roll any crits, so he didn't get his power refunded, which meant that he's on 1 power, which means that he isn't doing anything on round 2 other than moving and attacking. So I mean, I guess the benefit here is that I guess I can see why he did it, right? He did it because he needs the VP. Like, who else is going to get the VP? Daredevil is already off the point, and yeah, and he's going to move Jessica to this point, and Miles is like a free piece, I guess. But he probably, he probably correctly identified that like I don't have 2 characters here, so I could very easily not, like I could easily not win this point, right? I have robbery in my cards, but okay. I moved Miles to here because I didn't know what to do with him. I realize now that it was a mistake to not put him in a spot where he could stop my opponent from scoring and taking the lead on me on round 1. So yeah, that's a bummer. So anyway, Miles is here. He puts Spider-Woman on the point here. I respond. I think I double walk. That doesn't sound right. Did I double walk? How did that possible? I might have shot her and did like not. I think I shot her and did a few points of damage, but I mean we're on Extremis here, and that's what I realized too after is that like, Cable just like he's all right here. I mean he's okay, but he's not like I need better than just okay. So it's yeah, man, my 20 here was just a bummer. Okay. He double moves Miles to the point here, and I'm like, okay, well, if I get a single power, then I can robbery him, make him drop his scroll, and that's great. I move up, I attack, 0 damage. All right, so that's a bummer. So he ends up scoring 2 scrolls, and yeah, okay, yeah, that's how it is, of course. We tie here, and he wins this one. So he ends up going up 4-3. Obviously, that's a big problem for me because we both have the exact same stealing characters. It's like he can just like take back anytime I need to. I don't remember. Yeah, these are my cards I brought. I think I might have brought Mission Objective instead of Indomitable. Or yeah, I think I brought No Matter the Cost. Yeah, okay. So this was just a man. Okay, so what happened now? I don't know. I made so many mistakes here that like it doesn't really matter. What happens next? I think he goes with Rhino here. I think he goes with Rhino first a lot, which I think was a mistake. I think that he could have saved at least when Rhino was sitting on like no power. I think he attacked like Rhino and then he like attacked Miles or something like that. And and he got on the point. Something along those lines. And I think I chased, and then I think I chased him down. Like Rhino had 2 power now because we're at the start of the turn, and it's like, okay, great. I will push through enough damage on his Rhino, and I will take his piece. The problem that I had is that I paid 2 power for Steve's leadership, and I did my whole boom stampede attack, 0 damage, and I did another range 5 attack, 0 damage. So I'm like not really happy with my Rhino here. So I guess like the mistake that I think like I should have probably just considered double walking and throwing Rhino off the point and just immediately engaging in robbery, even though I only had 2 power. I relied on the attacks. I think I just relied too heavily on the attacks here. I think I stampeded. My mistakes in the game here were stampeding instead of just like robbing, because it put me in spots where it's like I had to get the damage through, and I lost the game because of that. So the question you want to ask yourself is basically just like, what happens if this doesn't work? Like, what am I? If this role doesn't do the thing it needs to do, how do I feel about that? If I was asking myself those questions, um, then I probably would have. I think I would have double moved, robbed him, and just displaced him off the point, made him drop his piece. And it's tricky though, right? Because like if you do that and it's like and you leave it on the ground, man, that it's tricky because I have he's got such fast characters. Like these characters, Miles has his web swing on online at this point now, and so yeah, I made so many early game mistakes here. That now that I'm like kind of like seeing my like where things are. The problem, so I have Spider Woman ends up she's injured enough from I think like Daredevil attacks or other attacks he's taken. Yeah, because Daredevil like comes in here and hits her, and she's like, yeah, so she's struggling. So she rotates over to here, and I don't remember who did this, but by round 3, I got hit by like a 4-person all webbed up, and it was absolutely it was just brutal because he was rolling. He got like to activate ASM with like boosted attacks because of it. He got to activate his Miles, got like boosted attacks into me, and I had no way to clear off the the slows other than shaking. So it was um yeah, it was a bad threat pick, and which led to a like slightly less effective team than the team I had to play into, and it really bit me basically. So let's see here. Cable had Cable got to, let's see, we got 2 blues, yeah. So Cable had a chance to spender into both these characters, and I think that the game maybe is different if he is able to kill them. The problem is at one point Steve is like, oh yeah, Rhino. What happens here? He gets displaced by Robbery. I think Robbery throws him or Miles kicks him, and he's displaced like way over to here. Um, and I think he's displaced way over to here. And then Daredevil this is on the all webbed up turn. So Daredevil gets to activate with like a Devil's Deliverance. Like I was hitting, Cable was attacking. He was trying to punch through both of these characters because um, he was trying to punch through both these characters so that he could win this point basically, and then that would give me like a 1v like a swing enough to like be the leader in the game, especially since we had all these steals. And so he was not able to do the job as effectively as I needed him to. Daredevil event is because of these things. Daredevil is loaded up with power. He does his Devil's Deliverance, and just like annihilates both my characters here. Cable is injured at this point, and Steve is injured as well. He's rolling like 10 dice right onto Steve because Steve is still slowed. Cable was not slowed, but um, Cable had already taken some punishment already, so it was just like brutal. I'm like terrible at getting hit by this Devil's Deliverance. Like I like send all my models to like swarm Daredevil. It feels like because every time I get a Devil's Deliverance into me, it's like 9 dice or more. Okay. Um. Yeah. So towards the end of the game, I'm trying to like okay. So the all webbed up turn, I believe he scores like 3 or 4 points to my nothing, and then he's up 12 to 10 or something like that, and then I don't. I wish I remember the score here, but the ending result was 16 to 15. He ends up scoring like he has healthy characters. All my characters get injured basically from like the all webbed up turn or like the turn before or whatever around that time, and so I'm dealing with full. All my characters are injured. Where he's only lost like Miles is like the only one that got injured, and so um it's or I don't either way like very few characters are injured on his side, so it's a problem, right? Because he is able to beat me on a secure if we both contesting it because he's healthy. So that was like a real problem too. It's like this team that I'm playing didn't have enough punch to flip his characters over and let me beat him on secures, like in terms like if we were both contesting them. And so I was losing on both like the secure and the extracts um were just like parity or whatever, close enough to parity that like just like the injured slash healthy thing was like the big problem. The end game was actually pretty kind of crazy because we I would say in the like I mean I was doing everything I could basically, but like Miles this his Miles like retreated to here, so like I'd spend his Miles, um and then I'd pick it up or whatever, and then he would use like his Spider Woman would like go over and attack with Intoxicating Blast into my Miles, and then my Spider Woman did the same thing. Like I think I mean my at one point his Miles was like way off to the side, and like my Spider Woman like chased him down and hit him with Intoxicating Blast, picking up his extract. Yeah, and then and then his Miles like rotated up to grab one, and like it was just like. But what I'm saying is that there must have been like 6 or 7 intoxicating or venom blasts in the last 2 rounds, like or I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 seems like a lot, but um, there was probably 8 in the whole game. We just kept attacking each other with these attacks, and I mean, if my characters are all dazed, it means like he was attacking me more efficiently than I was. So, um, yeah, it was looks like my mistake here was just a bad team comp and just like relying on I think it was just like relying on Rhino to do damage. And he just didn't do the thing I needed him to do. And same with Cable. I needed him to punch through these 2 characters. He has a spender which he did get to use and that was great, but it didn't kill them. I don't think it killed either of them with the spender. So it I was expecting um I was expecting more from Cable and I didn't get it. And I was expecting more from Rhino and didn't get it. And so I it was yeah, it was unfortunately too many mistakes on my side, and it put me in the position where I lost by 1 VP, man. 1 VP. All right, well, yeah. So there we go. Let's go to the next round. Just gotta delete this stuff now. All right, how much longer do I got here? I gotta go through these quicker. This is like a lot of. It's 6 rounds though, so I don't know how fast I can do this. All right. My game 3. Opponent round 3. So this was against Avengers. Okay, this one's pretty. This one's pretty straightforward. There's nothing really to say about this one, so I'll just like we'll make it nice and quick here. I win priority, or no, sorry, my opponent wins priority and picks his extracts and my secures. I have portal, I get portals, and oh, we got portals. I already picked it. And it's his spider infected. So let me just quickly activate these characters. I guess the tactic cards don't really matter. There's a few blunders early on, or just like / bad luck that kind of like sets it completely in my favor. So I just basically ride out the win at that point. But let's just go through it real quick. All right, he deploys Hulk center. I mean, I just deploy Sam center, straightforward. He's very flexible here. I think I just deploy Spider-Woman centrally as well. Steve's, it's doesn't really matter too much. Bill ends up being like right here. All right, perfect. So what does he do? So first of all, he brings vision. 2 energy. 2 energy defense means it's a lower chance to roll successes on portals. And I think that I think that was a little bit of a mistake here. He went narrower on portals. I'm missing a character. There's no way. Hold on. 4, 4, 4 is 12. 3 is 15. Oh, yeah. Here we go. I'm missing Pyro. Okay, well, let's activate him. Yeah, so Pyro has 4 energy defense. I've got 3 characters with 4 energy defense because I'm like, I didn't intend to do it and engage in him in any way, really. And I had a steal available to me. I had 2 steals available to me because I brought Pyrotechnics, I would imagine. I don't remember what exactly. So, all right, my opponent makes the mistake of basically underutilizing Hulk. He double walks to here, grabs this piece, and jumps back with the thing just to here. I mean, his Steve would roll this point. His vision grabs this spider, leaving... Sorry, his Steve must have grabbed the spider here. Yeah, that's what happened. And it was something like this, as like all of his openings. So I grab this, I roll this, I get that, I roll this here, I get this. The one thing I did that was important was that I think my first activation, yeah, this is what it was actually. So Steve grabs the spider. So my first activation, I did grab this spider here because Bill was the only character that can safely. Bill's the only character that can safely grab one of my, not safely, but he has the mobility to grab one of my spiders. So that's the thing you have to look for, is that you have to see if any of the characters on the other team can grab your extracts. And I saw that he could, so I purposely moved Steve and onto the portal here before he could do that. So then eventually at one point, so then yeah, Spider-Woman rolls in the portal and gets it. So I mean, pretty standard stuff. We've got his Bill, my Bill. I mean, my intention is just to roll over him, and then by doing that, I have a 68% chance to roll over him if he's standing on it. So he rolls it and he whiffs on it. He doesn't even get it. And he also rolls a skull too, which moves him. Which, like, thinking about it now, it's like, yeah, that is kind of like that. Obviously, it's catastrophic. But even just like rolling and getting it and still getting the skull is basically like what 95% of the time the exact same outcome as if you got it successfully. So I didn't even realize that until now. But it's like, yeah, if you roll a skull here, it's just like not like whatever 90% of the time, you might as well have rolled nothing because my bill is gonna just double walk and roll and do it, and that's exactly what happened. I end up scoring 5-4 on him, and then spiders hit, and then all of his characters get moved. So that was absolutely brutal for him. He couldn't like do anything basically this round. Um, and so like his bill, I don't know, his bill like attacked my bill and like did maybe some damage or something. Um, Ultimately, I just rotated. Like his Hulk rotated poorly to Pyro side, and he rolled on this portal, and I think he even failed it. But either way, if he got it, like um, I if he I don't remember. He didn't get it, so and so then I just rotated my characters away. But this is like by this time it's round 3. I think my Spider Woman like jumped up, moved up, and stole. It didn't matter. I mean, effectively the game was over when I had. I'm trying to think of like how this happened. He definitely rotated Steve over to here at one point, and then I stole with Spider Woman, no matter the cost, on Steve or Bill, whoever had a spider at that point, and I just like ran away. And then I put Steve within bodyguard range of Spider Woman to prevent her from taking any more damage and obviously dropping the spider. And so I ended up having 3 spiders. I scored. He ended up, I think he might have even failed even more portal rolls, but um, yeah, I ended up just scoring like after like 3 rounds. It was like 15-9 or 10 or something like that, and it was just like over. Like there's no escape. All right, technical difficulties where I switched scenes on OBS and it caused my screen to go away because I'm a noob at this whole streaming and OBS thing. So anyway, we're going to just jump right back into this thing, and this is game 4 of my experience at Second Wind. So this was against X-Force, and it was Intrusions and Senators. Let's just get these cards in here. And it was basically just a brawl down the middle. I felt good about this one because I just felt like I had the better characters for a brawl. He did bring New Widow, and he did bring her card, Vertical Assistance. So let's just get these characters on the board. Nothing. It was a pretty open board. There was a couple of size 2s near the middle that you're able to like get cover near on the middle intrusion. There was probably something like right here. And it wasn't too crazy. So what would I have done? What did I do? Okay, so I like Extremists because I can play Cable and Dynamo with this list, and they both have efficiency, movement efficiency. With Steve, like that's the cool thing about this list. I don't know if I mentioned it before, but with all the characters that have places, like you're getting so much free moves or like free moves. They're like you can do them out any turn you want because they are cost 2 and now they cost 1, so it's pretty sweet. And we're gonna put I mean it was nothing crazy here. I don't remember the exact deployment. Oh, I do remember Luke Cage eyeing up that flank, and it was something like this. And so we have Cable on his side was like dead middle. We had Black Widow on this side. Deadpool was over here on this flank. And we had Psylocke here. And we had Luke Cage in the middle. So he plays his cat and mouse. And he gets Cable up to here. And he won priority. So he moved Luke Cage up to a spot in cover I think it was just like a little bit back here. So we grabbed the Sun and Earth cable. And I mean, totally reasonable with the characters he has. I do the whole cool thing with Steve here, or with Steve Dynamo, where you pay 1 power to get your range 2 place. So 1 power gets you a range 2 place. You use 1 action to gain 2 power. So you're at 2 power, and 1 action left. You move over here, you pick up the Senator, and you're left with 1 power, which conveniently lets you play Disruption Field on round 1, right? So you've picked up a piece, and you can play Disruption Field round 1. Pretty cool. Helps keep your characters from getting like one shot immediately. So now this is where I think I made a misplay actually, or maybe I made a misplay, but I think I probably should have went with Luke Cage here potentially, because I think his next move here was to go with Widow. Yeah, that's what it was. And Widow has that really cool ability that the grunts from S.H.I.E.L.D. have, where it's all that matters is the mission. When the character would drop an objective, its controlling player chooses where to place it. So, I mean, he could have put a lot of pressure on me here by picking up this piece, and if I kill her, if I dedicate like resources to her, probably multiple characters, it means that I probably don't get parity. And if I drop the sender, like he gets it like back towards his side. So I'm not sure. Maybe it wasn't the right play, but definitely like it scared me. It scared me, so I thought it might have been the better play for him, just because of how I felt if he did it. It would basically put me on like a back foot and having to claw back up, which is like not really ideal, right? I want to be like parity and have my characters in formation to be able to tank his hits and then be in good positions to like reciprocate damage back into him. So he ends up going with Black Widow, something like this. There is like a size 2, like something around this line here. So anyway, I then immediately react with Luke Cage here. Is that what I do? Something, yeah, something similar enough. Where do I go here? Shit, don't remember. Shit, I wish I remember now. But I think I went with Luke Cage here, and so he's got this cool thing with Psylocke where he can move up. He shot into, oh, it must have been Luke Cage here, I think. He shot into Luke Cage, and she got 2 power, which let her move up. Oh, so it must have been like a move to the middle, I think. Yeah, that's what it was. Fuck, I wish. This is what happens when you're doing this like a few days later. But either way, yeah, oh, that's what it was. He did put her closer. Yeah, because I think Cable grabbed this one. So then I went with like Steve. Maybe I probably grabbed this one, or fuck, man, I wish I remembered. No, I think Luke Cage did grab this one. I think Cable went. Oh yeah, Cable went and grabbed this one and shot at Luke Cage, and then I had Steve set up somewhere. But the main thing that, let's see, Deadpool did the thing too where he like moved up, he shot his gun, gained power, then jumped onto the portal. Was pretty convenient. Let you get a free attack in round 1 and get on the midline. So that was pretty handy. He had 2 characters do that, like basically get on the midline or close to midline and have attacked me. Now my characters are pretty like tanky, and like the whole point of this team is like to be like a defensive powerhouse and just like have like all this defensive tech online. So I think we were able to generally tank the hits here. Pyro. Now this is like oh. Yeah, that was the big thing that so he went with Cable, and he came in here and shot at Dynamo. Now, one thing that he did make a mistake in is, like, I think he made a mistake in, is that he put Cable in range of 3 of Dynamo to get the rerolls, but what he also did was put him in range of Disruption Field, so Dynamo was able to tank the hits pretty good, and didn't take any substantial damage. Pyro then moved up. Like, this is why Pyro's so, like, freaking good, is that Cable's attack hit Incinerate on Psylocke, and that caused Luke Cage to be incinerated as well, because Pyro is freaking insane. And his Luke Cage was close enough to hit range 3 on him, and which was able to Pyrotechnics onto Luke Cage. Oh yeah, something like that. I don't. Oh man, I wish I remembered exactly. Either way, it was able to keep me. It was able to get me a 5-3 advantage because I was able to hold. Oh yeah, that's right. Now it's all coming back to me. It was, I think Psylocke was ended up like over here or something. Yeah, that's right. Cable grabbed this piece, and the Incinerate actually chain reaction into Widow. And so Luke Cage drops the piece. So Cable, like, so basically here, let me recap this. Dynamo did his thing, picked up a Senator. Luke Cage did his thing, picked up a Senator, and Cable picked up a Senator. Pyro went and made Luke Cage drop his Senator. It also displaced him. And then Steve double walked onto the middle and picked up the Senator. This displacement and dropping of the extract was like a 2-for-1, right? Because like he's no longer contesting the point, and I get to pick up its extract. Puts me at a 5-3 advantage. And I basically just like held the line here as much as I could. I would activate characters in the right order, and I would like keep my characters alive through bodyguards and shield increase, raising my shields. Here I had Heroes for Hire. He had to burn Heroes for Hire earlier because his Luke Cage was out of line, out of position, whereas my Luke Cage, like basically it was cool. Like my Luke Cage was able to Heroes for Hire right on the point, whereas like his characters, I don't remember if that was exactly the case, but I was able to save my Luke Cage Heroes for Hire card until later in the game when I really needed it, whereas he had to burn it earlier. A couple of cool things that happened in this match was that Black Widow was rooted and slowed. No, that's not true. There was a size 4 building that was preventing Widow from double moving onto the actual intrusion piece. So she wanted to score 4 points around. So what she did was she could only move once because of the Senator. So what she did was she did a vertical assistance on herself, gave her a short move, and then because she had wall crawler, she could now climb this size 4 building no issue and get onto the intrusion portal. So it was a pretty neat way to use the card. So it's something to think about if you're looking to play Widow in who can play this card? Oh, it's cool that like any Black Widow can play it because it's based on her identity. Okay. So the other thing that like this, so basically the major turning point though is that was when he had his characters all like pushing into the middle here, right? And my Pyro did a move action to something like this, and I think I base to base with Dynamo so that you couldn't like throw him away or something. Dynamo might have been dazed at the time, or either way. I did a move. I spent 2 power. I did a 6 dice beam into 3 of them, and I just had like super good dice luck where I was able to basically, I think I dazed all of them with the beam, or I think I might have left Psylocke on like 1 health, and I dazed Luke Cage and Cable, and then I like rooted and slowed Psylocke. I mean, like it doesn't really do anything that like it does a little bit, but nothing crazy. And that was a powerful beam. Now, with the bodyguard online and like Heroes for Hire and all that, I was able to basically keep Pyro alive to do this again, and I put a lot, even more damage on the characters. God's like incinerates on them on their injured side, which like puts them like that much closer to death, and or to like being KO'd, and so it was able to put a lot of output into the team, and ultimately it let me score 5-3 twice in a row, and then by that time I was like what? So that's a 10-6 advantage, and that basically that time is like as long as I just maintain parity, I win. I think I made I got to like it was like 14-9 or maybe 13-9, and then I just like what did I need? Keep my characters alive to score out the round. And it was game. So it was just a brawl, basically just a big brawl in the middle, and my defensive tech and dice rolls were just like, I think just like edged me out. Psylocke is a problem for like a few of these characters, right? Steve on his injured side, or like Steve in general is weaker to Mystic, so it's like she could like be hitting him pretty handily here. I mean, Crimson Dynamo takes the Mystic or takes energy attacks less effectively, but the problem is she's close range most of the time, right? So like pretty much anytime she attacked, I would like to be able to disruption field or raise shields, or this team is a lot of fun into play into a center brawl. And I mean, like, I think like the only character that really gives this team a problem is like, I mean, like, I think like the Guardians would give this team a problem because like they can just like hit you while being so far away that like your bubble doesn't matter. Like, I mean, Cables I guess does, but like, and then the Heroes for Hire one-time card, but Crimson Dynamo is just like insanely effective at this type of like fighting. Just like send characters to range 2 of each other and just like brawl and all that, because he just shuts down every like good trigger that the enemy team would have. He just like it basically makes them not get it, and it's really sweet. So yeah, that's that game. Let's just move on to the next one. So it'll just gotta clear this out, and then we'll get that up. All right. All right, let's see what we got for game 5. All right, so we played on Extremist again. No, we didn't. Was that Extremist? Yeah, it was. But we played on Mutant Madmen, so let's set that up. Oh, I hit the wrong button. Here we go. Alright, so we're playing a pay to flip. This was like part of the general game plan. You can see the characters I chose are pretty fast moving and tanky. So I could have went with Sam here for like more mobility, but I was playing against a hard hitting team. I was playing against this team where we've got Inhumans. So they are a brawling team, but they splash CGR, so it basically becomes a dual, like a two-headed monster here that I have to fight through. The Beta Ray, or sorry, Black Bolt is like, he definitely is he's like one of the harder hitting characters in the game, and then obviously Cosmic Ghost Rider is like the hardest hitting character in the game. Okay, so I mean he brought Toad as well, so a Toad Ghost Rider splash. I thought it's great. I love how he's got like great fast scenario pieces, but then he's got 2 massive beaters that can just like, especially Ghost Rider can just like take characters off the board whenever they want. So let's see what strategies I came up with here. I deploy Spider Woman like dead center, I think, pretty much dead center, and that I mean, it gives her the flexibility of going wherever she wants. I think like Steve and Luke Cage both picked their sides where they were going to flip traps for physical defense on all of my characters except Rhino was pretty cool. But so I put Bill here. There was like a size 4 like right here, I think, actually. Something like I think it was like this. It was like this. Yeah. Okay. And then we had Rhino. I don't know, something similar enough. Okay. And what did he do? So, yeah, if you could guess, yes, he put CGR dead center. Black Bolt was like right beside him. Quicksilver was like right here-ish. Marvel right here. Something similar enough to this. So, all right, what did I do? I rolled. Okay, I was obviously scared of CGR and his threat. It's like, why pick these up? You're literally just gonna die. And so I flipped the trap with Luke Cage, and I just stood there. And then he went with Toad. Great play here. I like this a lot. So he just placed Toad, grabbed the piece. He also passed a power to him so we could interact. However, Toad failed the trap. Okay, so what is that, like a 25% or less than that to fail the trap? And so I got really lucky there. I proceeded to roll with Steve here. I put him like pretty close. Basically, the thinking here is like, there's going to be a brawl in the middle. At least maybe he can bodyguard some of the brawl. And I don't know. I think that it was probably pretty reasonable. I guess it's always important to check like your ranges on CGR's threat before you like commit. Because like let's say he had 4 power, or like he's in humans, right? It's like I don't know, maybe he could go anywhere he wants. And like okay, so basically what I'm seeing here is like range didn't matter. If he wanted to double tap Steve, he was going to. So anyway, he goes, cool play with Quicksilver. He moves once long, flips the trap, moves over here, and picks up this Senator. Oh, there was a size 3, like right here or something that was like blocking. It was like basically like this. Okay. So he has wall crawler though, so he picked up the Senator. So I mean, I like the play a lot. Got 2 interactions on 1 character, on 2 characters. You need 5 total interactions. So very good. Now, I think I made a mistake here on this next action, which is I double mocked Rhino and picked up a piece. And I was like, well, I guess my thinking was like, my thinking was Rhino, he is okay being hit, like in general, like at least like the first hit of the game on him is like typically fine. Like it's good, what you wanted, because it basically fuels him for the rest of the game and lets him get his tactic cards online, etc., etc. So I was like, all right, whatever, pick this up. I'll get hit. What I didn't expect was, what I should have expected was like to get annihilated, but that's what happened. So Ghost Rider, so Marvel double walks and grabs the Senator. So he's done 5 interactions on 3 characters, and that's really powerful. He misses the trap, which is a bummer, but what am I missing here? How did he score? I thought he grabbed all 3, but I'm thinking now like maybe he didn't, because the ending of the round 1 was 3 was 3-3. So I'm trying to figure out how. Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, okay, I see now. So, okay, so then yeah, Cosmic Ghost Rider goes here. He hits Rhino. He then pulls him in, and he hits him again, leaving Rhino at like 2 health or something like that. He's base to base here. Yeah, I remember now. So, and then I'm like, this kind of sucks pretty bad. Like I'm about to die because Black Bolt's gonna smash me. I believe I double walk Bill over here, throw the size 4 into Quicksilver, who has great blocks. He takes 3 damage. And I don't pick up the piece at all with Beta Ray Bill. Like I opted to like just try to they basically start taking out characters that can activate. And he had a good roll, so I can't really do anything more about that. Black Bolt moves up to here. He attacks into Rhino and dazes him. Rhino does drop the piece, but the situation is that he is literally just out of pickup range. He's like here. And the medium tool is a good measurement to see if you're in range. I believe it's like the exact measurement. But anyway, we had to, it was so close we had to get a judge call. But after we had the judge, like basically had the judge help walk us through the measurements and all that, we found that it was basically like this. This was the situation. Black Bolt couldn't pick it up. He was just out. And so he had 3 senators, no trap, or he had 1 trap here. I had 2 traps and that was it. Spider-Woman. Oh, I think that was Black Bolt's. That was Black Bolt's last activation. I forget who activated last. But anyway, I had Spider-Woman double run over here and steal this trap from my opponent. So that's what put us at a 3-3 advantage. So I felt okay about this. Now, I'm not holding any extracts, but there's so many to grab. The thing is, I am forcing my opponent to do more, move around more, because now I've basically got parity or close enough to it, and my characters currently have their full mobility, and his characters are somewhat stuck, and I can just focus on if I pick up my pieces, then all of a sudden I'm winning the game, right? So we end up scoring 3-3, and I have priority. So I mean, of course, you go with Rhino. I go with Rhino here. I attack into Quicksilver, and he blocks on a Black Bolt who takes 2 damage. I throw the size 3 or something, whatever was here, into Quicksilver, who braces it, I believe. I then do this thing where you stampede. I attacked Toad and I one-shot Toad. Really big for me. It let me pick up the Senator and interact with the trap here. So I, at this point, had 1 Senator and 5 traps. And yeah, that was really cool. I think he passed here, or I think he might have attacked Bill. Basically something happened here. I think Bill dies. Bill gets 1 shot from Cosmic Ghost Rider, Spender, and or something along those lines. And then I go with Spider-Woman. Yeah, maybe he attacks Spider-Woman once and then Spender's into Bill or something like that, because Spider-Woman ends up with 3 damage on her. And then what I try to do is I'm within range 2 of Miss Marvel. I basically try to spend her into Miss Marvel, because now I have the power because I took that damage. And he sacrifices into Cosmic Ghost Rider so that Miss Marvel doesn't die. So that Miss Marvel doesn't drop her Senator. And because if she had to drop her Senator, I don't think I had the power to pick it up, but it basically would have meant that she would not be able to flip this trap. She'd have to move, pick up the piece, and then be stuck. Quicksilver would have to rotate over instead of her, and it would have slowed down his attempt at maintaining point parity or close to it. So ultimately, it doesn't work. The sacrifice is burned though, so I'm not too upset about it. I'm more upset about giving Ghost Rider power. I would have rather just not. I would have rather just had rolled 0 into Ghost Rider at that point. So then what I do here is I just move Spider-Woman over here. I think I might even have paid 2 to leap even further away. And then Miss Marvel goes, and bummer for my opponent, alright, bad luck, and she fails the trap over here, I believe. Luke Cage just moves up, grabs his piece, doesn't do anything else. It doesn't really matter what he does, really. It's not a big deal when Luke Cage doesn't do a whole lot, because we're really triggering the card to be played, Heroes for Hire, to get him in the action, take some damage, and then be able to maybe do a spender into his opponents. And So I'm not concerned. I think like actually I also think I might have got him range 3 of Rhino. So I think my opponent made a mistake here too. Here though, because what he does with Quicksilver is he moves him, does a spender, which lets you get a free medium move. And it was something. It was probably like closer to like this close. It's where like he was. And then he attacks into Rhino, I believe. I think he attacks into Rhino. Which allowed me to move aggressive Rhino, and it let me get on the point with the aggressive, which meant that he had to roll 2 successes over Rhino, 50-50 chance, which was a problem. I don't know if Luke Cage was the answer here, but you know what? Maybe even like because it was tight, I personally thought that he should body block Rhino so that he couldn't get on the point. Ultimately, he puts him as far away as possible from Rhino, which like doesn't really matter, right? Like you can be as far away as you want from Rhino. You're like there's no escape. So maybe just like outside of range so that he couldn't attack. The problem is I'm Steve Avengers and Rhino had enough power from like one-shotting Toad, so it's like there really was no escape next turn. Like you're gonna get attacked by Rhino probably. This is an injured Rhino at this point too, so it's like he's a little more fragile. But oh, actually, now that I say that, I think I totally forgot that he was injured. But either way, it didn't matter because my opponent rolled 2 successes anyway. So even if that was missed, nothing changed. Okay, so that's basically how the round played out. I think I scored 5-3 here because he failed this trap roll, so I was left with 3 traps because I had this one, this one, this one, and I had 2. Yeah, I had 2 of the Senators. And so it ended up getting me 5-3. So I was up 8-3. Now, oh yeah, Black Bolt would have went. He would have like, I think he would have attacked into Rhino, but I Heroes for Hired it, and I threw Black Bolt away. So he was basically stuck doing nothing because he had already, those were his 2 actions. And I put Luke Cage in a spot where he could basically single walk to either point and flip it if he needed to. That was like the idea. And that was, yeah, so that was the round, 5-3. So the next round, I think that's, so my opponent was, I don't remember the order of activation. I believe this is the first thing he did, was move Black Bolt and attacked into, he was outside of range 2 of Taunt. You always want to avoid that if you're trying to be selective on your targets. And he attacked Rhino. Rhino had already taken some damage from Quicksilver. And so this put him at 2 health left. Rhino at 2 health. And then he played Terrigenesis, which is like Sinister Traps, except if you KO the character with the damage, you score 2 VPs. And it has to be holding a civilian. And so that's why this works. It's pretty cool. I don't play Inhumans, so it's like now I'm seeing that this is Senators is like the perfect place to play this card. I thought it was pretty risky because Rhino had 5 has damage reduction, so he did need to roll 3 successes at least, which is totally reasonable. Look at that, I just rolled 2, so Rhino would not have died, and that would have let Rhino activate into Quicksilver, but Rhino is put off the board at this point, which is a problem. So Luke Cage has to go here, and he ultimately decides to move and attack into he throws like terrain into Quicksilver or something, and I believe he dazes, yeah, he like dazes Quicksilver. And oh yeah, right, I put the Senator like here. And I thought he had enough power to run away, and I probably would have maybe, but maybe he was defending his piece. I don't remember the exact situation, but I mean, in my mind, I'm thinking, all right, this is perfect. Jessica can rotate, grab this piece, and yeah, she can rotate, grab this piece, no problem, because I know that I know that a long moving character, if they're on like the inside of the B, can like long move twice and get to the and be in contesting range of the B. So basically, being like a little outside of that, I knew that I could pick up that senator based on where it was positioned. So I felt good about that. I had the previous turn. Oh yeah, right. Yeah, the previous turn I had thrown a shield into Miss Marvel. So I think I did more of that the next round. But either way, Toad does this Toad things. He grabs the senator and bounces. And what else happens here? CGR. So he passes, or he goes with Miss Marvel, or the order doesn't really matter. I think he passes. Spider-Woman grabs this piece. Beta Ray Bill grabs Bill grabs this piece, comes over to bodyguard range of Steve, and he throws like an attack into Miss Marvel or something. I'm not really exactly sure, but so that's how this round plays out. I think it plays out something like he gets this trap, I keep this trap and this trap, and I get 2, and he gets 2. I think it's a tie game, yeah, or like it's the Terrigenesis put it at 8-8, and I think it goes to. Oh shoot, was I up ahead? Maybe it was like. I think it was like 12-11 actually, now or 13-11 or something. Either way, so we're getting into the final rounds here. We have Beta Ray Bill. He gets KO'd. So Ghost Rider. Okay, this is actually pretty interesting. What happens here? So Beta Ray, I have priority because he killed too many of my characters. So Beta Ray Bill does a. What the fuck? What does he do? Oh yeah, right. He throws Cosmic Ghost Rider into Marvel, who blocks it and takes like I don't know enough damage. She's like has 2 health left. Then Beta Ray Bill moves and attacks her. He doesn't have enough power for like Summon the Storm or any spend or anything like that, so he just attacks her with 5 dice. It does get her, so she is dazed. But the Got Your Back. The funny thing is that Cosmic Ghost Rider's Got Your Back kills Beta Ray Bill, so he comes off the board. And then Cosmic Ghost Rider activates, and I think this is where he makes his one of the blunders that he just made a blunder. I think here, and that's that Steve. So at this point in time, I'm winning this trap and this trap. And Quicksilver. Oh yeah, right. Quicksilver did dash out of the way. Of maybe like well, he was dashed out of the way, so he's like off the point here. Ultimately, what happens? Black Bolt kills Luke Cage or dazes Luke Cage, so he's injured. And Toad like runs just basically runs further away from the game. So we're down to who do I have left here? I've got. Yeah, I don't know. It's pretty messy. It looks maybe something like this. And so Ghost Rider, basically I'm winning this point, and I've got. Hold on, did Luke Cage survive? Oh yeah, right. Okay. Luke Cage. So Black Bolt doesn't kill Luke Cage. Actually, that was the huge thing. Luke Cage is healthy still. He rolls over here and he flips the trap over Beta Ray, over Black Bolt, putting me in a position where I now have 4 points. I have 4 points. 5 points, sorry. 5 points out of the total 10. So basically I win if nothing changes. So Steve, so Steve now has he only has 1 power on him. So he can't hit both trap and sender. He has to pick up one or the other. And Spider-Woman has her activation left, so she can like flip a trap or whatever like that, wherever she needs to. Luke Cage has already flipped this trap, and so here we go. This is the end game, and this is where a couple of mistakes were made by my opponent that let me get the dub. but it was like his game basically. It was his game, and he just had to play it like a little differently, I think. But anyway, I would have attacked Steve here. He didn't attack Steve, but like I would have trusted that I would have killed Steve. Is like what I'm trying to say, because obviously if you don't, it's a problem. So Miss Marvel is dazed. So like let's just flip her over. Who else is dazed? No one else is dazed. So if you don't kill Steve, yeah, it's a big problem because he can double walk and get both of these traps, this trap and the Senator, for an extra 2 VPs, but it also drops the opponent by 1 VP. Ultimately, he decides to range 4 teleport and attack into Spider-Woman twice. She drops her Senator where it doesn't matter where, and she is dazed. This basically leaves Steve open to flip the trap. So he does. That's what he does. He just picks up he's my only activation left. I get the trap. I can't pick up the Senator. So I'm scoring 1, 2, 3, 4 traps, and Luke Cage has a Senator. That's 5 points. So he needs to. I only need 3 points to win, and he needs 5 points to win. So basically, if we both get that, it would go another round, and he has obviously a significant attrition advantage over me. So like there's like almost no way that I win this next round if it goes another round. So what he does is he then goes with Toad here, who moves to about here, and he attacks into Luke Cage, hoping to push him off the point. Okay, he doesn't get the wild. Luke Cage stays on the point, and then he ends Toad's activation. Okay, Toad has a range 2 interact, and he failed to use it here. It would have given him a 50% chance to win this trap. And then Quicksilver gets to go. He moves. He flips this trap successfully, and at this point, the game is so Toad has one. So we've got 1 point for Toad, a 2nd point for Quicksilver. Oh, Black Bolt must have gotten one somehow. I'm trying to think here. I'm trying to run the numbers. I'm scoring 1, 2, 3 on Luke Cage. I'm scoring 3. Plus this trap is 4. So I'm scoring 4. So maybe it was 12-10. No, it was not. Okay, let me just try to figure this out. I'm scoring 4, and he's scoring 1, 2. That would put him at, me at like 17 or whatever, and it would put. Okay, so if he flips this trap here, I'm now only scoring 3. I'm scoring exactly 16, and he's scoring 1, 2, 3. So Black Bolt must have been holding 1. So now he's scoring 4. Either way, okay, I don't know. I'm rambling, but basically, Quicksilver. If Quicksilver grabbed this point, grab this point, grab this point, that's enough points to tie the game, basically. So that's what he does. He flips this trap. He goes over here, and then he fails this trap, which basically seals the game. I score my 4 VPs, which puts me at, I think it does put me at 16 exactly. Yeah, I believe I went 16, 15. And he scores 1, 2, 3, 4, putting him at 15. So he fails the trap, 50-50 chance basically. Luke was healthy, and so the game, like he did have another interaction here that he missed. So like it was basically his game, and the last like end game blunder cost him the point. Also, like by not attacking Steve here, like if you killed Steve, I don't get to take 1 point away from you. I only get to, like, I don't think Spider-Woman has the range. Maybe she does, but it's close. So ultimately, maybe it doesn't matter. But and maybe he did make if she did have the range. I don't know if it does matter, but maybe he was just worried about Quicksilver because he might have been at like low health. I think he took a throw on his injured side, so he was low. But anyway, this was a super tight game. I was basically just like losing models or like getting injuries and KOs every turn. When you have a character injure on round 1, you are at serious risk for being like out attritioned by round 3 and then them winning the game by round 4, basically. So I was in that position and I basically was like, well, Rhino is going to die this round, so I better basically get him back to safety, away from Ghost Rider and away from Black Bolt, immediately when I have Prio. Okay, so let's just do this last match here, and then we can call it. Let's see. Let's delete. Oh, we gotta delete this shit. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. It's out of here. All right. So, my last round was actually against one of my local Canadians, Vince, who I was actually on a team with in a trios event, and that was a lot of fun. And so it was more of a, it was just really, it was a very friendly match. We were both having a good time. We were also 2 tables over, or there was only 1 table between us and Curtis, who was playing in the finals, who was also our friend and our other teammate in that event that I just mentioned. So we were really just like in between turns. We were just the one of us, whoever was turn it wasn't, was like walking over and looking at the score of Curtis's game, and we were talking about Curtis's game like between turns. It was pretty intense. It was really cool that like there were out of the on the top the first 3 tables, 3 of us, 3 players were playing in the event. Yeah, so I mean, it was just by luck, right? Like the pairing by the luck of the random table assignment. We were in that position where we luckily got a table close by Curtis, so we could like kind of like cheer for him. Anyway, let's see what we got for crisis combination here. I roll priority. I get portals, which is like probably best case scenario for me, I think, in this matchup. And I get scrolls, which is good enough. Let's see, what do we got? Scrolls. Perfect. Okay. So this is against Sleeper Hulk and Hydra, which I hadn't played against in a while, or I don't know if I don't remember the last time. Yeah, it's been a while. We Sleeper Hulk is sweet because it turns off all your reactive abilities, but what I really loved about this team, or like when I saw like what it was doing, it's just so sweet. You can grab a token or like a crises extract, and your next turn is unaffected. It's as if you didn't pick anything up. So any characters whose abilities turn on and with 1 extra power than they generate, that's on round 2 they get to do that. It's very cool. So man, I really liked it a lot. And Red Skull, I love Red Skull, Master of Hydra. Played a lot of him in Cabal, and yeah. So let's see here. What do we have? Okay, so also this team was awesome because it has 2 safe extract grabs at this threat level. Like he had Red Skull on one side. Something. It was like basically like the equivalent of this. And it 2 safe extract grabs. Like if you lose priority, you're still totally fine. And that's that. So where do I put my character? So I put Bill. Whatever. Okay, well that's the Bill now. That's the Bill I use. Sam, like one of them goes in the middle pretty early on. You just do that. Steve, where do I need him? I don't know. He goes in the middle. Pyro, he goes on the mid flank because it allows him to partially rotate. Miles, Other flank, cool thing about this, I got 2 steals on mid flanks. And then we had Luke Cage going here. So basically, I didn't bring Eyes on the Prize because it's spider portals, and it's like you kind of need your characters to be on the midline anyway. And I don't know if I took a gamble or not. Whatever. I think I took a gamble. And I didn't realize he would have 2 safe grabs. Like I didn't think about that. So how did we open here? We open with a alright. We open with just like basically this is just a scramble to score VPs first, like to take all the things you need to take. So Luke Cage goes here, grabs the scroll. I don't think he gets pushed. And then we have Beta Ray Bill basically do the same thing on this side, and it's like, all right, well, he goes over to here. And then we have Sam do the thing, grabs the scroll, and he rotates over to here on this, just on this side, like he doesn't need to go anywhere. And then we have Zemo do the same thing. This is all basically like standard kind of don't maintain parity basically kind of moves. Then we have Miles go. He just goes like beside a cover up here, which I don't know. It was just like bad. It was just like I was really delaying the. Oh, sorry, my bad. We had Steve go and roll the portal, and he gets it. He gets pushed or whatever, but then he just like moves back onto the portal. And then we had this is where Bob goes, and he rolls and he gets it. Something like this. Okay, so I just have Pyro left. I have Miles left, and he's got less character. He's got less activations than me, because I've got Bill left as well. Yeah, okay, there we go. I also had Bill left, so he has less activations. I know I'm gonna go last, which means that Pyro is gonna like be able to attack into Red Skull, and Bill's gonna attack into Hulk like he can instead of flipping points here. So we have the Hydra Troopers roll, and Vince and I were keeping it pretty casual, or just like having a good time. And every time I rolled the portals, I was basically just like telling him how you just have to believe in the dice and they'll work in your way. And then he says, okay, and he's about to roll his dice, and he says, I believe. And then right as he rolls his dice, this is funny, right as he rolls his dice, as they're like falling out of his hands, he says, at least this interaction is free, right? As the dice are leaving his hands, he like spews doubt into the universe. And of course the grunts fail the roll. And then Red Skull moves up. He gets a hit. He gets the hit trigger. I think he puts like 2 damage on Luke Cage or something like that. And then he rolls on the inhibitor portal. I believe he pushes Luke Cage too. I don't remember exactly. But I think he also failed the roll. I believe he also failed the roll. And so, boom, ouch. Yeah, so that's like the theme of this game. I win. I basically won because of my opponent's failed portal rolls, which is kind of like it's a bummer. It's a bummer because like you win the game, but you got lucky. Really, I don't know what to say. Like I just got lucky because if the game played out the same way, I lose the game probably. I mean, obviously I would do different things if he did get that point or whatever it was. So yeah, ultimately he doesn't get the portal. I go with Pyro. I attack into his Red Skull, hoping to incinerate him. I don't believe I do, but I did get the power to then root and slow him. So that was nice. It means like his like punching heart attack is gonna be a lot more costly. And I think I hit him for like multiple points of damage too. I think it was a really good attack. I also root and slow him, and yeah, that's that. And then he goes with Sleeper Hulk. He goes over to here, And there's a size 4 in front of him and size 3 behind him. And he ultimately ends up deciding to throw the subway station away into nothingness. And then he hits the portal, and he gets teleported with a skull. He gets it, but hits the portal. Hold on, did I roll? Hold on, I'm trying to think here. I thought we went parity. Yeah, we definitely went parity. So I must have. The only thing I can think of is if I must have double walked and rolled on this with Pyro. Trying to think of how this happened. No, it doesn't make sense. Maybe he does get it. Oh yeah, actually he did. Sorry, Red Skull does get it. So he ends up scoring this portal, and 2 scrolls. That'd be on these 2 back characters. And he's got Hulk over here. So I opt to go with Beta Ray Bill, and I just roll on the portal here, and I get it. So I steal it from him. So I score these 2. And my scrolls are on Sam and on Luke Cage. So he is in a better position because his extracts are safer, and mine are vulnerable, and he's got a heavy hitter here, and he has priority. So I'm just trying to think of what he does with priority here. I think he kills Luke Cage, rotates back. And he picks up the scroll. I think he must have done that. And then, I basically start throwing attacks into him. I just start pushing forward. And I think I double walk Steve or walk Steve, throw a shield or something. I basically just start putting points of damage into him. Miles. Oh yeah, so let's see here. I played fallback. Oh no, I remember what happened now. Frick. My Luke Cage was here. So when he pushed, oh yeah, right. He did the attack, he got the wild defense shield, so he's able to push me, and then he moved. And then he basically got to do the same thing again. So he pushed me again and moved me here. And then eventually I think Luke Cage gets got or something. Or do I double walk him? Either way, it doesn't matter. Scroll drops, Miles double walks, or he walks web portals and picks this up because he didn't do anything last turn, so he had 2 power. And so then he is able to basically get back here with the piece. I've got a portal flip on Pyro, and I have a beam with Pyro. I think I've got beam options. That doesn't sound right. I think Pyro moved over here and hit some beams into the troopers. Zemo just did a charge and then fell back onto the point, and Bob moved up here and started shooting at me. Bob rotated, so it ended up looking something more like this, where Pyro was able to beam into both Bob and Beta Ray Bill. He wasn't able to hit Skull because of terrain and whatever. It was a placement issue, so he wasn't able to get the range 3 beam. It was probably something like this. So the range 3 was just out on Red Skull. Okay. The problem, so you can probably see what's starting to happen here is that my characters are all grouping up, which is normally pretty good, except it basically, okay, so it ended up looking something like this, basically. Which is totally fine normally, but the problem is that one Bob Rocket can just ruin my entire day. That was a huge problem that I had to deal with. I had Beta Ray Bill throw Hulk and then just stand on this point. It allowed me to attack, or allowed me to survive a Hulk attacks and a terrain throw because he's sleeper agent, right? If you you throw the size 4, I can't brace it. So if he puts me on 1 health, he probably might just, or 2 health, he might just attack me and kill me and keep sleeper agent. So yeah, so I'm afraid of Bob. I'm afraid of Bob here. He's through playing fallback, and And yeah, through playing fallback, Red Skull's able to retreat. He's able to kill Miles. I think. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. He activates first. He puts some attacks into Hydra Troopers to get some attacks in. And Red Skull does a move action and it kills Miles here. Miles was outside of any sort of bodyguards. So he drops the scroll and he's able to use his like trigger, hit wild move trigger, to go as far away as possible here. So he basically starts rotating his characters pretty quickly. I have to, with Cap taking bodyguards, I have 1 health left on Cap. I have to like do something with him. I think like I feel like I just have to activate him. And also like it's best case scenario here is for him Cap to just take out Bob. So that's what he does. He takes out Bob so that Bob can't rocket my entire team like and just murk them all. Zemo ends up rotating down here, which was a very smart play. We had Hulk. He ended up rotating over this way. Okay, so no, hold on. Hulk. So I had to. He put a lot of pressure on me by activating Zemo there. He had 3 portals, and so I had to move with Stam. I could have either charged into Zemo here, pushed him off the point, and then rolled on it, or rolled contested. I opted to roll for an uncontested portal here up here, and it made me It basically punished me because my Sam was got because of that. And it's really tricky. I was in a little bit of a desperation moves, because he was rotating really well. He can hit hard and run away with Red Skull, which was really was giving me a little bit of a problem. All right, and so ultimately, so what does he do here? What does he do? Does he move Bob? He gets his Hydra Troopers respawn, and eventually they make their way over here where they are able to flip the point because Bill wasn't on it or Bill wasn't on it. He got dunked on by Hulk. I go over, I flip over the troopers, and it's up to his Bill to run over and flip and get this for the win, or to seal the game, and he doesn't, and then the game would be tied. So basically, my last action here is to go. I teleport with Miles. I hit Zemo with a Spender attack, and it kills him in one shot, and like that's game. So I pick up the portal, and I pick up the Senator or whatever, and I score out with like a 5-3. So it was like a 4-4, 4-4, 4-4, 5-3 for me win. And it was like I think like I know I didn't like I skipped through bits and parts, but it was like maybe 6 portal misses on my opponent's side. Like it was just absolutely brutal. He was rotating better than me. His characters were hitting harder than me. My characters were slowly falling apart. I probably should have brought Eyes on the Prize. I probably should have just brought Eyes on the Prize. The problem is if like I played on Bill, then I'm in a situation where Bill can't throw, and like that displacement on Hulk basically kept him out of doing anything in a round. So that was really nice. Pyro used pyrotechnics. Oh, so there's one other event that happened in this game. It's pretty funny. So we have Red Skull here, we have Hulk here, and Red Skull has a scroll, and Hulk doesn't. And I'm like, okay, they're both incinerated. Okay, I say, I'm gonna pay 2 to pyrotechnics, to play pyrotechnics, and he's like, 2. Why would you play 2? Why would you pay 2? I gave him I paused and just like didn't say anything for a few seconds, like let him let him figure it out, or just like this is like where you let your opponent make mistakes basically. If they don't see what I'm about to do, then you don't say anything. I don't say anything if they're walking into a trap basically or a misplay. But if your opponent like basically realizes there's something finicky going on, I like that's I mean I can be like, yeah, so this is what's happening. So that's exactly what happened. He's like, why are you spending 2 power? And then I was just like, well, you've got mission objective. So if I push Red Skull away and you can play mission objective, I can then after that push Hulk away and effectively get the same result. Um, but you've wasted a tactic card. So I basically tried to get him to play a tactic card he didn't need to, or it would have been a waste. Dead card. It didn't work. So it was fine. Not a big deal. Like Pyro gets the Scroll Agent anyway. In that moment. So yeah, I mean, there's really nothing much to it there. I think look, getting a little luck on the pay to flips, like against the last 2 opponents, which are really strong players, was just a lucky break. I think I think that those games both don't go my way. Um, I think my opponents made better decisions most of the time, although they did put themselves in a position to have to win the pay to flips to win the game. So maybe there's improvements there. I put my characters in bad spots for Bob to just like wreck my face. I got lucky that he opted not to do that. I think there was a couple of small tweaks I made um to avoid the worst case scenario, like in terms of like positioning. Like I had bodyguard options available to me to like minimize the amount of characters that would daze from the two damage. But it was still like to even put myself in that position was pretty bad. Um I I think that I had a few dice spikes go my way, especially into Red Skull, and then at Zemo at the end to win the game. So it was, um, yeah, it was trick. It was interesting. He was able to play Red Skull really effectively for a character that is kind of fragile on the fragile side. So it was really when he was making those like when he was retreating and attacking me, I was like, holy hell! Like this, it's really clever way to utilize the abilities on the Blitz Strike. Okay, so anyway, that's my recap of Second Wind. It's a long one because there's 6 games. I I have nothing else to say, so hope you enjoy the video.